What it doing me? So I've been on this BEATPELLA train for the last 4 or 5 days because everything I've been hearing has been absolutely heat, like straight heat. And it's kind of crazy that, all 5 of them can produce such. I mean, I've known that, but it's like it's a different level. They keep blowing me away every time. Today we're checking out Rob Roy. Let's go ahead, shut up, turn up. Hey. Okay. All right. Look, hold on. Yellow, before you start singing, look, y'all, I've told you guys before that my favorite genre of music is EDM, right? Well, actually, okay, my second favorite genre, jazz is my favorite. My second favorite genre is EDM. And, I try to critically listen to the texture of things, right? Like, because I also like to produce music. I like to produce bass house and house music and everything. So I've had a lot of time of critically listening to how the pros are doing it because I'm looking for certain transients and I'm seeing what's popular and whatnot in this type of music. So I'm all going to say all this to say that when I hear them, like when they're kind of doing the rides and the hi-hats and the transients on the kick and everything, even to the risers, guys, it literally sounds like the digital equivalent to what you would hear in a digital audio workstation. That's the quality that we talking about here. And if you guys love EDM, or if you was listening to this on the radio, I feel like you might be able to tell that the kick might be from the mouth. And then of course, obviously, we have our bass and our sub bass coming from the mouth. But as soon as that percussion come in, yeah, you're gonna be like, wait a minute, is this acapella? Wait, this coming from the human mouth? God, they're so good at just mastering the groove already. It's 25 seconds in and your booty is moving. Okay, that's what we like. Not the Toms. Wait, what's going on here, bro? Hold on. What was, okay, what sounds was he doing? What sound was he carrying before he slid in and started singing? Because the track didn't lose any. Hold on, what was he? I see. So I'm thinking from what I can like visually see that he might have been adding some more layers on top of that tom and maybe even adding a little bit more percussion. See, this is this is wonderful because it kind of comes all through arrangement. Whenever you arrange things to keep the listeners fully engaged, you start adding in elements and removing elements. You don't want it to sound too busy, especially if you got a vocalist on top of it, right? Have your groove, but don't make it too busy. So when they were arranging how they were going to do this, you got to think about that. If somebody's going to come in and start singing below you, then we need to make sure that whatever element that he was adding, whatever transient that he was adding, that when he stops doing it, it doesn't take away from the energy of the track. So that way the groove is still there. Now I got confused, or not confused, I got surprised, is because nothing was lost. It wasn't, and that's careful planning by him. Nothing was lost before he started coming in and singing. If anything, it made it more infectious, guys. I like to talk about why this is hitting your head, why it's making you groove. You can, of course, just listen to it, and jam out. But the why, I need to know the why.
In my feeling now, gonna follow on your pheromone up all night. I can lose myself, but you in this life. slide. Can do anything if I can make you mine. Lost in a haze, mind in a daze, caught in a maze. Memories fade, I'm gonna chase you down. Surely I can make you wear the crown.
Bro hopped off and decided to sound like a Decepticon. Hold on, bro. You ain't come with them Decepticon voices, bro. Whose team you for? Hello? Huh?
In my feeling now, gonna follow when you're pheromone up all night. I can lose myself with you in this light. Can do anything if I can make you mine. Lost in a haze, mind in a daze, caught in a maze. Memories fade, I'm gonna chase you down. Surely I can make you wear the crown.
So you wanna know the interesting thing about, and it sounded like a trumpet, right? The type of trumpet that he decided to go with. This song obviously has kind of like a chill energy to it, and honestly, if he wanted to, he probably could make it sound like exactly like I'm not gonna say exactly like a trumpet because he is mimicking a trumpet, but more importantly, it sounds like he's mimicking like a muted trumpet. You know, when they're playing it and they muffle it. This allows you to still get the timbre that you would hear from a trumpet without too much of that dynamic, right? You can hear sometimes you can hear this in lo-fi where they'll degrade it a bit to kind of lower the dynamics, but you can still get that timbre. That way it kind of fits, right? Because this isn't like a massive orchestrated kind of piece, right? Where you would hear the brass instrument just going in and it just starts blamming. But if you still want that, if you still want that timbre, then that's what you would do. If it already wasn't enough that he was adding a tremendous amount of sauce to the trumpet, he even gave a little bit of vibrato to it too. And that's another difficult thing to kind of control. You can hear that whether it be an instrument, whether it be somebody that can sing, vibrato without going too out of pitch does require a lot of vocal technique, singing and beatbox, because you can overdo it. I was listening to him do it, and while he was doing it, he did it in specific places. And that's what you want to do. Sometimes you just want it to sustain. Other times you do want that vibrato, right? To kind of give it an extra flair, but he didn't add it at the end of each phrase, right? Again, meticulous detail that just goes in. And the funny thing about it is that most of the time when I'm talking about this stuff, I feel like that ain't even what they intended to do, right? It's just my own headcanon, but that is, one of the reasons why I made this channel, because I go through a lot of headcanon, and another reason is that I couldn't talk about this with my wife, so I make this channel so I could talk to you guys, people who don't skip the commentary, which I know some of you don't, and I appreciate you about that. Anyways, fire song. Let me know what you guys thought about this down in the comments. Dave's out.